Hello and welcome to the Narc Alert, the channel where we look at YouTubers and others to see if they demonstrate any traits that fall within the spectrum of narcissistic personality disorder or NPD. These videos are for fun and entertainment purposes only, strictly my opinion, and remember, please don't send any snark to our possible narcs. So key points to remember: messy fun and not a diagnosis. Hello, and welcome back to another night of poetry with Merc. Tonight we're going to examine the simple theme of love in the writings of one of our favorite poetesses, AMBERLYNN REID. Last week we looked at heavier pieces involving passion and pain. So tonight I thought we would lighten it up a bit and just look at the simple, innocent, girlish love that our poetess so aptly describes on paper. Her first piece is called The Right to Love.
Thank you all for coming to Club Coffee's Poetry Slam Night. Gracing us with her presence next, the poetry genius of Merc. With her, frankly, breathtaking, emotional, thought-provoking piece.
The right to love. Loving someone isn't only physical, longing for their touch, strong passion for their kiss. Loving an individual is mental. Their thoughts intertwine with you. Hopes and dreams you'll never want to miss. A touch of their hand, a twinkle in their eye. Loving you more, you pray to never lose. Really, it only takes a glance. One kiss to set off a spark. Other times, the true love between two is still in the dark. You don't need to be girl nor boy, old or young, mean or nice, weak or strong, black or white. To love, you need a heart. Each human is grown with one. Each human is grown to love. Love, being near that intriguing someone, makes you someone different, better. Love, being away from that special someone, makes you crazy. An uncontrollable desire to be in their arms. To love, you need a heart beating, or no. To love, you can be straight, gay, lesbian, bi, or transgender. Love ignites, regenerates. Time goes on, people go on. But one thing stays the same: the right to love in your living name. Now, The Right to Love is actually one of the earlier works in the back catalog of our author. I don't believe it was actually written specifically for one of her lovers. I think it was a simple but beautiful exclamation, a declaration, if you will, of what love is to her and what it means. And she starts out because she's not a superficial woman. She's very she goes very deep. Her feelings are multi-leveled. So she starts off with saying, loving someone isn't only physical. It's not just longing for their touch or a passion for their kiss. Because this woman understands, or actually at this point, just a girl. But that's how in touch she is with herself, that even at this young age, she had a kind of a deeper understanding of what true and real love actually is. She goes on to say it's not about those physical things necessarily. She also states that you don't necessarily get to choose. It's just something. It's like a spark that happens. It's not up to you. It's up to the universe, apparently. Um, or sometimes people don't even know that they're in love. And of course, we know that our poetess is a lesbian. She has a strong political affiliation with the LGBTQ plus community. We've seen videos of her attending Pride, so it's not a secret. And here she goes on, and through this piece, she reiterates that old or young, mean or nice, weak or strong, black or white. In other words, it doesn't really matter what your differences are. She goes on to state that despite all of the differences, as long as you have a heart, and quite frankly, everyone has one, is what she's saying. Later in the piece, she goes on to even further reiterate how differences don't matter. That all you need is a heart. It doesn't even have to be beating. So conceivably, after death, you can still love. And you can be straight or gay, lesbian, bi, transgender. It doesn't matter. Love is a universal theme. And finishing off again with, you see, she puts a little political twist on it, the right to love in your living name. As we know, it's quite coincidental that further along the road, she had a transgendered partner who had both a dead and living name. So I wonder if it's an allusion it's a foreshadowing of sorts. It's a beautiful piece. It speaks to everyone. Florida. The sun is awake differently in Florida. It's almost as if it's there singing for the doves. The trees are aligned differently in Florida, placed in patches, smoothing their bodies along the road. Everything in Florida is satisfyingly painted in difference. The kisses are more magical. Some are like big comets exploding throughout your body, and others are like soft, delicate feathers tinkling your skin. Hugging is like our bodies were meant to be glued together from the moment our baby eyes faced the world for the first time. The passion in Florida is heated. Electricity gripping at every sensation that your body devours. The sounds, smells, touches, they're all highlighted full of mystifying colors that are brighter than they've ever been before. Florida is different because I'm with you. Loving someone so much and having them mirror my feelings was always a distant dream. Our minds intertwine as much as our bodies. The way you make me feel is different than I've ever felt. I'm warm in all the right places, from your beautiful words and loving touch. Your presence around me is electrifying, almost too hard to bear. My heart's locked in place, weapon of choice. Love in flames, reaching a forbidden place. You stole my sadness and threw it away wrapped in happiness and made me whole. Gasping for air, thanking the universe, hoping one day you'll place a ring on my finger In Florida, love is different, strong like an exotic tiger, beautiful like a red rose, perfect like a handwritten letter, chemistry like a wanted dream. No words, no poem, no kiss can describe how I feel. No moon, no diamond, no hug can compare my love. Give me the stars, and I'll give them back to you. Now, as we are privy to quite a fair amount of personal information about our author, we know that at this point in her writing career, she had moved with her lover to Florida. And this poem is just a celebration of that. We can tell that she is in the blush of love. She is ecstatically happy, and moving to this state has made apparently a huge difference in her level of happiness. It's almost as if she's alive for the first time. The sun is different in Florida. The trees are even different. And this is a very colorful phrase. Interpret it as you will, it's multi-leveled. Placed, speaking of the trees, placed in patches, smoothing their bodies along the road. It's interesting, isn't it? She's at one point extolling the beautiful trees, and in the other hand, talking about their bodies on the road. It's interesting. I'm not sure exactly what she's getting at, but again, she paints pictures with words. We don't need to understand the meaning, and you can assign your own. She does that for us. It's a gift to us. Her kisses are more magical. I love this. Some are like big comets exploding. It's joyful. It's youthful. And others are like soft, delicate flowers, or again, soft, delicate feathers tinkling your skin. She always likes to use a kind of different word. Most people would have gone for the rather mundane tickling your skin, but she chose tinkling. She's very clever. She keeps us on our toes that way. She goes on to talk about how the passion is and again with the twisting and the turning of the phrases and the words. Yes, Rio is joining us. Usually it's electrical heat, but here she says the passion is like heated electricity, which is gripping at every sensation that your body devours. So there's a lot to unpack in that one sentence. It's very complex. It's very complex. Heated electricity is gripping at the sensations that your body devours. So, she's speaking to passion, I'm sure, here, but she's covering it up because this is a more subtle, more gentle piece. She loves how her partner thinks exactly the same way that she does. Here's another beautiful line. You stole my sadness and you threw it away wrapped in happiness and made me whole. So it's as if her lover has so much happiness to extol on her that she could actually remove her sadness and cover it in happiness. And she has so much happiness to spare, she could throw it away. And that act in itself made the poet whole. I hope we all can find a love like this one day. In Florida, love is different. And of course, she comes back to her very colorful animal and flower imagery. She leans on roses a lot because, of course, truly the most beautiful flower. Could anything compare to the uniqueness of a rose? And this is interesting. Chemistry, like a wanted dream. She desires that chemistry, even though it's there. She's always so deep. She wants more from her partners. No love really is sufficient for her. No moon, no diamond, no hug can compare to her love. And then she says, give me the stars and I'll give them back to you. which is interesting, isn't it? Almost implying that she will give you exactly the same that you give to her, no more and no less. There is equity in love, isn't there? I can't imagine my life without you. Imagining a catastrophic wind isn't even as painful. I swear my heart is singing when I think of you. Palm trees blowing in the sky. Oranges growing off their home. Birds flocking in the distance. Newborn babies cry for their mom. Seashells making music against your ear. Yet none of these things are as beautiful as you are. Your perfection runs through my veins. I breathe your words. I taste your lips. I envy your clothes. Nowhere near melancholy, surrounded by elation. Your bliss you give is a tender marry me. If not now, it'll be true. Grasp my hand in yours, make me wear a veil. Put on your bow tie, and let's marry the distance. We came from miles apart, souls bound together. We found our whole with one swift message. Sleeping on the same sheets, bodies against each other, swimming in a pool of prison. Hearts glued together forevermore. The final piece in our trifecta of works that we're looking at tonight is called quite simply, Marry Me. We know that our author has a deep desire to be married. This woman loves stronger and deeper than most average humans. I don't think that we could understand the depths to which her love is. So this poem is coincidentally written in the same month of the previous poem. So moving to Florida apparently worked very well for her, and she wanted to just continue her relationship, to take it to the next step. So she says I can't imagine my life without you. Imagining a catastrophic wind isn't even as painful. Now, I know in the UK, they've been experiencing some catastrophic winds, but even that isn't as painful as Amber simply imagining her life without her partner, not even being without her partner. She swears her heart is singing when she thinks of her partner. She's so happy, and oranges are growing off of their home, which is a very colorful and lyrical way. Most people would say, refer to it as an orange tree or a grove, but she's going to tell us they're growing off of their home. She has a strong connection to home. She had a difficult childhood. And then she goes on to speak about beautiful things like the moon and the ocean and seashells, and none of them are as beautiful as her partner. But her partner is so perfect that her partner's perfection runs through her own veins. It's as if she claims her partner's perfection for herself because they're so intertwined. They're truly one soul. And then, of course, we come to the closing stanza where she finally lives in her truth and says, grasp my hand in yours, make me wear a veil, put on your bow tie, and let's marry the distance. So I think what she's trying to convey to us in this particular stanza. As we know, she's lesbian, and I think she's trying to ensure that her partner knows how the wedding is going to look for them. She's a very pretty girl. She spends a lot of time on self-care, on her hair and her makeup. She wants to be the one wearing the veil. It's just kind of cute the way she wants to live a kind of stereotyped wedding within the boundaries of her own life. She's just so unique and quirky this way. They came from miles apart, but they knew their souls were bound together despite the distance. And it only took one message, one swift message, for them to really realize that. Amber is beyond astute when it comes to love. If you know anything about her history and her romantic history specifically, because she has been so gracious and generous as to share these moments of her life with us, we know that her relationships often stop with one swift message. Amber doesn't need to take the time that the rest of us do to get to know other people. She sees into people's souls. It's a gift. She's a gifted woman in really so many ways. And she finishes off with just romantic, sleeping on the same sheets, bodies against each other, swimming in a pool of prism. Clearly, in her eyes, she's thinking of the reflection of the water and the many colors it makes. And as if a whole pool was full of those reflections, she creates imagery that makes things that are so breathtakingly beautiful. It's almost like you're living in a fairy tale. And on that note, I'm going to leave you with the beautiful works and the words of love from our ever passionate poetess, AMBERLYNN REID. Thank you for joining me. And until next time, be kind and hasta luego.